In the middle of a wide river flowing through a lush tropical forest, a bold idea begins to take shape. The river flows slowly but steadily, carrying water from distant mountains toward the lower lands. On both sides of the river stand tall bamboo forests, their green stalks rising high into the sky. Within this peaceful natural landscape, a unique construction project is about to begin. There are no modern machines, no concrete, no steel, only bamboo, rope, simple hand tools, and a determined builder. That builder is Tran Hai. Tran Hai is a craftsman who has spent many years working with bamboo and natural materials. Over time, he has learned how to use bamboo, a material that is both lightweight and extremely strong. Bamboo can bend without breaking. It can support heavy weight while still remaining flexible. And most importantly for this project, bamboo can float on water. Because of that special property, Tran Hui decided to attempt something extraordinary. Building a giant floating bamboo house on the river. This is not just a construction project, it is a test of skill, patience, and creativity. Because a floating house is very different from a normal house built on land. It must remain balanced on the water. It must resist wind, water movement, and the weight of the entire structure. The first morning of the project begins early. Tran Hai stands on the riverbank, observing the flowing water in front of him. Morning sunlight reflects across the river surface, creating shimmering waves of light. He carefully studies the current, how fast the water flows, how deep the river is, and how the wind moves across the surface. All of these factors are important because the floating house must be built in a stable location. After careful observation, Tran Hui selects the right area. It is a wide section of the river. The current here is gentle, and the surrounding riverbanks are filled with bamboo forests, the perfect building material. Once the location is chosen, the next step is preparing materials. Tran Hui walks into the bamboo forest near the river. Tall bamboo stalks grow densely together. Wind moves through the bamboo leaves, creating the familiar rustling sound of the forest. For centuries, bamboo has been considered one of the best natural building materials. It is strong, lightweight, flexible, and environmentally friendly. But for this project, one characteristic is especially important. Bamboo floats on water. This makes it the perfect material for a floating house. Tran Hui begins selecting the largest and straightest bamboo stalks. He raises his axe and starts cutting. Each strike echoes through the quiet forest. After several strong swings, the bamboo stalk begins to shake. Then suddenly, with a loud crack, the bamboo falls to the ground. But the work has only begun. After cutting the bamboo, Tran Hui divides the stalks into different sections. Some long bamboo pieces will be used to create the floating raft base. Other pieces will become structural pillars. Smaller sections will later form floors, walls, and roofing. Once the bamboo is prepared, the pieces are tied into bundles. Tran Hui then begins transporting them to the riverbank. The path from the forest to the river is rough and uneven, but slowly, trip by trip, the bamboo reaches the construction site. When enough bamboo has been gathered, the most important step begins: building the floating bamboo raft. Tran Hui carefully ties large bamboo poles together. The bamboo poles are arranged side by side. Strong rattan ropes are used to bind each connection tightly. Every knot must be secure, because the entire house will eventually stand on this floating platform. After many hours of work, a large bamboo raft begins to form. Tran Hai carefully pushes the raft into the water. Slowly, the bamboo platform rises and floats on the river surface. It gently moves with the current. Tran Hai steps onto the raft to test its stability. The raft floats well, but to support a large house, it must be stronger. So he adds additional bamboo layers underneath. Gradually, the raft becomes larger and more stable. This floating platform will become the foundation of the giant floating bamboo house. A remarkable structure is beginning to emerge in the middle of nature. Once the floating bamboo raft becomes large and stable enough, Tran Hai begins the next important stage of the project. That stage is building the bamboo house structure on top of the floating platform. At this point, the bamboo raft has become a strong foundation floating on the river. It gently moves with the water, yet remains surprisingly balanced. Tran Hui stands in the middle of the bamboo raft and looks around. The river flows calmly. Green trees along the riverbanks reflect across the water surface. A gentle wind moves across the river, creating small ripples. It is the perfect setting for a floating bamboo house surrounded by nature. But before the house can fully take shape, Tran Hui must build the main structural frame. He begins by selecting the thickest bamboo poles. These poles will serve as the pillars of the house. Each bamboo pole is placed vertically on the floating raft. Tran Hui then ties the pillars securely to the raft using strong rattan rope. Each knot is tightened carefully, because the entire house structure will depend on these pillars. Once the main pillars are installed, the basic shape of the house begins to appear from a distance. The bamboo pillars rising from the floating raft look like the skeleton of a structure forming in the middle of the river. The next step is constructing the floor frame. Long bamboo beams are placed horizontally between the pillars. These beams create a solid structural grid. Tran Hui once again uses rattan rope to bind each connection. This is a traditional construction technique that has been used for centuries. No metal nails are required, yet the joints remain extremely strong, piece by piece. The bamboo beams are positioned knot by knot. The ropes are tightened gradually. The floor structure becomes complete. After that, Tran Hui begins installing the bamboo flooring. Thin bamboo slats are placed closely together to create a flat surface. Each piece is secured carefully. When Tran Hui steps onto the bamboo floor, he can feel the stability of the structure. Even though the house floats on water, the bamboo floor remains surprisingly firm. Once the flooring is finished, the next task is building the bamboo walls. Tran Hui splits smaller bamboo poles into thin strips. These strips are woven together to create bamboo wall panels. This weaving technique is a traditional bamboo craftsmanship method. The bamboo strips create natural patterns that are both beautiful and functional. The bamboo walls protect the interior from wind, but they also allow light and air to pass through. This keeps the house naturally ventilated. Sunlight passing through the bamboo patterns creates soft light on the floor. The house begins to feel alive. After the bamboo walls are completed, Tran Hui continues with building the bamboo balcony. The balcony is designed to face the river. It will become a perfect place to sit and enjoy the surrounding landscape. Tran Hui extends part of the bamboo floor outward. Then he builds bamboo railings around the balcony. Thin bamboo poles are arranged into simple, decorative shapes. Standing on the balcony, one can see the river stretching into the distance. Sunlight sparkles across the flowing water. Wind gently moves across the surface. It is a peaceful and beautiful view, but the construction work is not finished yet. To complete the floating bamboo house, Tran Hui must build the roof. The roof is one of the most important parts of the structure. It protects the house from rain and sunlight. Tran Hui begins constructing the roof frame using large bamboo beams. These beams are placed at an angle to create a slope. This slope allows rainwater to flow easily off the roof. Once the roof frame is complete, thin bamboo panels are layered across it. These panels create a natural roof covering. When sunlight shines through the bamboo layers, it creates soft shadows inside the house. The interior becomes cool and comfortable. From a distance, the floating bamboo house now has a clear shape, a strong bamboo structure, beautiful woven bamboo walls, a wide balcony facing the river, and a bamboo roof protecting the entire house. A floating bamboo house in the middle of the river is slowly becoming reality. With the structure, walls, and roof completed, Tran Hui's floating bamboo house is now almost finished. From a distance, the structure appears like a peaceful home, resting gently on the surface of the river. However, before the house can truly become a livable space, several final steps remain. The next stage is completing the interior of the bamboo house. Tran Hui begins by crafting furniture from bamboo. Bamboo is not only a construction material, it can also be used to create beautiful and durable furniture. First, he builds a bamboo bed. Large bamboo poles are cut and joined to form the bed frame. Then thinner bamboo slats are placed across the frame to create the sleeping surface. Everything is tied together using strong rattan rope. No metal nails are needed, yet the structure remains extremely stable. Next, Tran Hui builds a small bamboo table. The table is placed near the balcony. It becomes the perfect spot to sit. relax, or enjoy the river view. Then he builds 2 bamboo chairs. The chairs have a simple design but remain very sturdy. Their surfaces are smooth so they're comfortable to sit on. Once the basic furniture is complete, Tran Huy begins decorating the living space. He places several small plants on the balcony. These plants bring life and color to the floating bamboo house. The river breeze moves gently through the leaves. The atmosphere becomes peaceful and relaxing. Inside the house, natural sunlight passes through the bamboo walls. The light creates beautiful patterns on the floor. The house does not need electricity during the day. Natural light fills the entire space with warmth. As afternoon approaches, the sun slowly begins to set. Golden sunlight reflects across the surface of the river. The entire landscape becomes breathtaking. Tran Huy walks onto the bamboo balcony. He stands quietly, looking across the river. After many days of hard work, the project is finally complete. The giant floating bamboo house now stands firmly on the water. It gently moves with the river current but remains stable. From the balcony, the surrounding nature can be seen clearly. Green forests stretch along both riverbanks. The water reflects the colors of the sunset, and the sky slowly turns into shades of orange and red. Tran Huy sits down on a bamboo chair on the balcony. A gentle breeze moves across the river. The sounds of flowing water, wind, and rustling bamboo leaves create a peaceful, natural symphony. This moment is the true reward for all the effort and dedication. The floating bamboo house is not just a structure. It is a symbol of creativity and harmony with nature. Bamboo, a simple natural material, has become the foundation of a beautiful home on the river. This project shows that humans can build sustainable living spaces while still respecting the natural environment. Tran Huy's floating bamboo house now becomes part of the landscape. It blends with the river, the forest, and the sky. A dream has finally become reality. As the sun slowly disappears behind distant mountains, the sky begins to glow with the warm colors of sunset. Golden light spreads across the entire river. The water reflects the sunset like a giant mirror. Tran Huy's floating bamboo house now looks truly remarkable. It is no longer just a construction project. It feels like a natural part of the environment. The bamboo pillars, bamboo walls, and bamboo balcony blend perfectly with the colors of the river and the surrounding forest. Everything becomes quiet. Only the gentle sound of flowing water and the wind moving through bamboo leaves can be heard. Tran Huy stands on the balcony of the floating house. He looks out across the vast landscape. Just days ago, this place was simply an empty stretch of river. Nothing but water, forest, and sky. But now, a giant floating bamboo house stands in the middle of the river. It was built entirely using bamboo and hand tools. No machines, no modern materials, only patience, skill, and determination. Tran Huy sits down on the bamboo chair on the balcony, quietly. He watches the sunset on the horizon. The last rays of sunlight shine across the bamboo roof, casting soft shadows. A gentle breeze moves across the river, causing the floating house to sway slightly, yet the structure remains stable and strong. The bamboo raft beneath the house supports the entire structure. From above, the floating bamboo house looks like a small island in the middle of the river. The tightly bound bamboo poles form a solid base. The bamboo frame rises from the floating platform. The balcony extends toward the water, and the bamboo roof protects the entire structure. The sunset slowly fades. The sky turns into deep shades of purple and blue. Small waves on the river reflect the final light of the day. The entire environment becomes peaceful and calm. This is the moment when all the hard work feels worthwhile. The floating bamboo house is not just a shelter. It is a symbol of creativity and harmony with nature. Bamboo, a simple material found in forests, has become the foundation of a unique structure. A house that floats on water, a house that blends with nature, a house built entirely by human hands and natural materials. Tran Huy looks at the river one more time. The river continues flowing as it has for centuries. The bamboo forest remains strong along the riverbanks. But now, within this natural landscape, there is something new. A giant floating bamboo house on the river, a structure created through patience, craftsmanship, and passion. And as night slowly falls, the final light of sunset fades away. The floating bamboo house quietly remains on the river, a symbol of creativity within the vast beauty of nature.